Hey guys, what is going on? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So today, got some more signature scents on the docket. I love going through my cabinet and thinking like, what would be a good signature scent for somebody out of all the fragrances I got? And what I love about it is I keep finding stuff that gives a different characteristic, may work for this person or that person, this situation, this season, that season. Now, I myself personally would probably never have a signature scent because I'm a little bit of a weirdo. I go out of my way intentionally to make sure I am not wearing the same fragrance within the same week and sometimes within the same couple of weeks. So that alone makes it hard for me to actually have a signature scent, but that certainly doesn't prevent me from knowing what would make a good signature scent for myself as well as others. So let's get into it. Alright guys, and welcome back. Before we get started, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and remember to hit that bell icon so you can be notified for when I upload new videos. Alright, so first up, from the house of Mancera, this is Vetiver Sensual. Mancera's Vetiver Sensual. So this one right here, beautiful cocktail of citruses in the opening. Those citruses blend very nicely with a nice mint accord and some orchid to just kind of smooth it out, keep it very fresh throughout the fragrance. And the vetiver in here is not super strong. It's like a grassy, woody kind of baseline vetiver. Got a little bit of oak moss in there as well, some amber to give it just a touch of sweetness. Super easy to wear, uber clean, awesome in warmer weather, but can certainly work in cooler weather as well. Who's this fragrance a good signature scent for? Really, this one can work for anybody. It can work for the office situation if you're a man who works with your hands. This one here will work great as well. Just the casual wearing experience, this fragrance can do it all as far as I'm concerned. Unless you are someone who hates vetiver to your core, you can't stand even the simplest inkling of a smell of it, this fragrance can pretty much work for anybody. It's a very easy to wear vetiver. And to me, it's kind of batting the same average as something like gray vetiver. Mancera's Vetiver Sensual, great option for a signature scent. All right, so this next one's coming from the house of Ormond Jane. This is Mont Intensivo. Mont Intensivo. Shout out to Equality Fragrances. This is who I learned about this fragrance from. Oh man, this is some good stuff right here, man. I learned about this fragrance from him, but I do have Ormond Jane fragrances at my local niche perfumery, but they've never had this one, so I never could get my nose on it. But I have it now. It's a new edition. I've given it a couple wears. I'm definitely gonna wear it this week again. Man, let me tell you about this one here. First of all, just a great, clean, classy scent. It's very fresh, very airy, kind of dry too, but it has a very prominent tea accord, so it has this cooling and relaxing effect. You've also got some juniper in here, kind of attributing to that cool green-like cleanliness. There's also an accord in here called an air accord. This does kind of make you think like a cool breeze, if you will. When you get down to the dry down, you get the tobacco really starts to come out at that point. It's kind of just a leafy tobacco. It's not smoky or anything like that, so it's keeping with that clean, classy, calming style of fragrance. And you've also got a lot of isogamma super kind of acting like cedar wood, keeping it in that dry, woody kind of realm. The fragrance is awesome. I would say that anybody can pull this one off here. Signature scent that can work for any situation. Regular office, outside office, the casual occasion, out to dinner. You can pretty much rock this for anything and it will work. Awesome signature scent option in my opinion. From Ormond Jane, Mont Intensivo. All right, so next up, coming from the house of Xerjoff, we have Neo. Xerjoff's Neo from the Shooting Stars collection. Very popular fragrance from the house. Many of you might have this. Many of you might have had experience with it. So I don't need to talk too much about it, but you know, beautiful citrus opening, very fresh fragrance. A lot of florals in here, some spices, all kind of blending together, in my opinion, to really give kind of a soapy feel, which is why I think it is a good signature scent option. You typically hear this being talked about as more of just a great warm weather summertime option. And while it is that, I think it can do so much more because of that soapiness it kind of has. It may not be what everybody wants in terms of a signature scent, but if you ask me, anytime you get something that comes off as fresh and clean and has a little bit of a soapy vibe and it doesn't smell cheap, which this one certainly does not, that's a great option for a potential signature scent fragrance, and I think Neo can be a great signature scent. Xerjoff Neo once again. All right, so the next one's coming from the house of Orto Parisi. This is Bergamasque. Orto Parisi's Bergamasque, I've been talking about this one a lot, but the more I wear it, the more I realize that this fragrance here can pretty much work for anything, which is always a good thing for a good signature scent. Now with this one, I would say you're not really getting the clean kind of vibe, but you are still keeping in that fresh realm. Lots of citrus in the opening of this, primarily coming from bergamot, and a more of a musky dry down, supported with what I think might be some aldehydic type notes and also some woods. A really nice powerhouse fragrance. You don't need a lot of it, but it can work for a man in the office as well as a man on the go, out working with his hands. This can work for a date night. This can work for casual wear, morning wear, whatever. This fragrance is very versatile. A great option if you want a fresher style of fragrance for a signature scent, but not necessarily a soapy clean one. This one does not go soapy at all to me, but it is definitely a freshie and smells so good in the air. You can't go wrong with this one in my opinion. Bergamask from the house of Orto Parisi. All right, so now we're gonna move away from some of the more fresh fragrances and start taking it in a little bit of a different direction. I think a good signature scent can be something other than a freshie. So from the house of Navitus Parfums, Sartorio Nui. Navitus Parfums Sartorio Nui. Now with this one here, this is gonna go more in that aromatic and powdery direction. So let's say you're a guy who likes a scent kind of like a Prada L'Homme as a signature scent. This could be an alternative to that. So as I stated before, it's very powdery, has a lot of aromatics with it as well, kind of a woodsy base. The fragrance I can most closely relate this to is Prada Luna Rossa Black, but not as spicy. Luna Rossa Black is very powdery, but it's also very spicy. This one does not have that same kind of spice to it. So think of it as a fresher style of that type of fragrance. Now to me, this one does kind of lean a little bit more towards that office style. I don't know if this one would be one that, for a guy who's working outside or anything like that, I don't know if this would be his first choice, but hey, you can wear what you want. It's just my opinion. All that being said, I think it is a great option for someone who's looking for a signature scent, maybe something just a little bit different than say a fresh and clean fragrance. Sartorio Nui from Navitus Parfums. All right, so this next one's coming from the house of Nashani. This is Pape Lefico. Nashani's Pape Lefico. So with this one here, you're gonna get a lot of spices first and foremost, but it's not spicy in an off-putting way. It's also very balsamic and resinous. So it kind of almost smells like a spicy, smooth, soapy kind of fragrance, if you will. Lightly soapy though. The fragrance I can most closely relate this to is Pacha de Cartier Parfum. That one is also very balsamic. This one has a note of fir balsam. So does Pacha de Cartier Parfum, so they share a little bit of a similarity with that. But this one has a lot more spices, cardamom and coriander, spices like that. The fragrance is very interesting, it's very smooth, and I think it would be great for someone who's working in an office environment. Again, I'm not sure if this is something that somebody who works outside would go for, but it's a very smooth and interesting scent, and there's nothing really off-putting about it, even though it is very different from what you would typically find, say, with most designer fragrances. I also think it has, even though it is a balsamic fragrance, it has enough of a freshness to it with the fresh spices that are in here to give the fragrance a little bit of versatility. An interesting option, could be something a little different for someone who's looking for a signature scent that wants to stand out a little bit more. Nashani's Pape Lefico. All right, so now in my opinion, you can't have a signature scent list without at least having one scent that has somewhat of a barbershop style fragrance to it. From the house of Zahara, this is Second Soul. Zahara Second Soul. So as I already stated, kind of a barbershop vibe, a bit of an ode to the classic barbershop style fragrance, but has a lot of stuff in it to give it a little bit more of a modern take. It also make it a little bit more interesting. It's fresh, it's spicy, it's a little bit boozy, but not in an immature way. Lots of aromatics in here. There's resins, there's myrrh, there's tobacco. It's a very complex fragrance, but it is very well balanced. You very much need an air of class to rock this one. I think gonna appeal to guys a little bit older in my opinion, at least 32, 35 and up. It's versatile enough to work in any situation, but as far as work is concerned, probably appeal more to the traditional office environment versus working outside. If you like the classic barber style scent, then I think you'll definitely love this one, and I think it makes a great signature scent option. Once again, from Zahara, this is Second Soul. All right, and last but not least, now this one here is probably going to be the most challenging choice, I guess, just because it's the most different. But let's say you want some rose for your signature scent. How about this one here, Amouage Lyric Man. Amouage Lyric Man. So as I just stated, this is a rose fragrance primarily, but has, first of all, just beautiful lime and bergamot combination in the opening of the fragrance, giving it this really nice zinginess to it that blends with the rose instantly. Along with that rose, you got some other supporting florals, but you primarily have very green and spicy and musky accords, all sweetened up just a touch with a little bit of vanilla. So this one here is definitely going to be for the guy who's certainly working in an office environment and probably at least dressing business casual, if not wearing a suit every other day. This one might be a little bit of a weird choice for someone who's in a little bit more laid back work environment to be your signature scent. Now, I do think the fragrance can work for any situation. I think it can work for a date night. It can work for casual wear as well, but because it is a little bit more of an interesting fragrance, a little bit more of a mysterious fragrance, that's why I said it's not gonna be for everybody, but I do think it can work as a signature scent because it's not that far out there. I'm sure there's a lot of guys watching this video that certainly appreciate rose fragrances, but putting a rose fragrance as your signature scent, that's definitely kind of stepping outside of the box a little bit, particularly for somebody here in the States, but I think it is something you can do, and I think this is a great possible option. Once again, Amouage Lyric Man. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. That was 8 signature scent worthy fragrances I have in my collection that I have not talked about yet in terms of being a signature scent option. Hopefully I presented some different options here, to appeal to different types of guys, different scenarios. A signature scent does not have to be one box of fragrance. It can pretty much be whatever you want it to wear. These are just some options I would at least consider as signature scents. Thanks for watching all the way into the end. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.